Life is a complex journey between order and chaos, a theme echoed in our oldest stories. We long for guiding principles to help us navigate this terrain, to find meaning amidst suffering and responsibility in a world that often seems adrift. This book offers a set of foundational rules, drawing from psychology, ancient wisdom, and direct observation, to provide a sturdy framework for living a life of purpose and integrity. Our journey begins with a fundamental truth observed in nature: life is structured by hierarchies. Confidence and posture are not just physical traits but reflections of our internal state, influencing how we are perceived and how we perceive ourselves. By carrying ourselves with the assurance of someone who respects their own place in the world, we can positively influence our own neurochemistry and the opportunities that come our way. This isn't about arrogant domination, but about standing tall and engaging with life from a position of self-respect, breaking cycles of defeat that can trap us in low self-esteem. Yet, how do we cultivate that self-respect? Often, we are our own harshest critics, extending more compassion to a loved one, or even a pet, than to ourselves. We must learn to treat ourselves with the same kindness and care we would offer to someone we are responsible for helping. This means making choices that are genuinely good for us in the long term, not just pleasurable in the moment. It involves accepting the inherent duality of existence, the light and dark within us and the world, without succumbing to self-loathing or the futile pursuit of perfect, sterile goodness. True care is about setting a direction for your life and taking the necessary, sometimes difficult, steps to move toward it. The people we surround ourselves with are powerful forces in shaping that direction. Human beings are deeply social, and our habits, attitudes, and aspirations are profoundly influenced by our companions. Choosing friends who support your growth and encourage your best self is not an act of snobbery, but of profound wisdom. Conversely, associating with those who are chronically resentful or who indulge in destructive behaviors can pull you into a downward spiral. Seek out relationships that are reciprocal, where you can both give and receive encouragement, creating a network that elevates everyone involved. In measuring your progress, the most meaningful benchmark is your own past self. In a hyper-connected world where we are constantly exposed to the highlight reels of others' lives, comparison is a thief of joy and a distorting lens. It reduces the rich tapestry of personal growth to a simple binary of success or failure, ignoring the small, crucial victories that build a life. Instead, adopt the mindset of a diligent inspector of your own being. Assess where you are today compared to yesterday, last month, or last year. Identify areas for improvement, celebrate genuine progress, and set goals that challenge you to expand your capabilities. This internal focus fosters continuous, meaningful development. This principle of responsible guidance extends profoundly to the role of a parent. One of the most significant duties we can have is to raise children who are capable, kind, and resilient. This requires the courage to set boundaries and enforce reasonable discipline, not out of anger, but out of love. A parent who fails to socialize their child, who allows them to dominate the household or treat others poorly, does that child no favors. They send them into the world unprepared for its realities and unlikable to their peers. Loving parenting means being a benevolent authority who prepares a child for the world as it is, teaching them the skills of cooperation, responsibility, and empathy. Life is inherently filled with suffering and injustice. While it is tempting to blame the world, our parents, or the system for our troubles, this posture ultimately leads to bitterness and powerlessness. Taking responsibility for your own life, even for the aspects that are not your fault, is the first step toward genuine agency. It is the difference between seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and an active participant in your own story. This doesn't mean the world is fair, but that your response to its unfairness is within your sphere of influence. By focusing on what you can change, your attitudes, your efforts, your next move, you claim the power to build something of value from the chaos. A meaningful life is often built on the foundation of sacrifice. We must be willing to forego immediate gratification and shoulder burdens in the service of a higher goal. This could be the sacrifice of time for education, of comfort for a principle, or of personal desire for the good of a family. Pursuing what is expedient or pleasurable in the moment leads to a shallow existence. In contrast, choosing a difficult path because it aligns with a deeply held value, such as truth, creation, or love, imbues our struggles with purpose. The pursuit of meaning, which often requires sacrifice, is what sustains us through hardship and makes life worth living. Central to this pursuit is a commitment to truth, starting with being honest with yourself. We often tell ourselves little lies to protect our ego or avoid difficult realities. These falsehoods corrupt our perception and lead us astray. To live authentically, we must strive to say what we mean, to align our words with reality, and to stop using language to obscure, manipulate, or inflate our own importance. Speaking precisely and listening attentively are acts of moral courage. In conversation, we should approach others as if they possess knowledge we do not, seeking to learn and understand rather than to dominate or win. This open, truthful dialogue is how we navigate the world's complexity and discover what is real. When confronting the world's ills, we must be careful not to throw out the essential with the pathological. There are indeed destructive and oppressive patterns of behavior, often associated with certain forms of dominance. However, in our zeal to correct these excesses, we risk suppressing the underlying drives of human nature itself. Order and competence, the desire to achieve and to build, are not inherently evil. The answer is not to dismantle all structure or to vilify natural ambitions, but to channel them toward positive ends. We should aim to cultivate the positive aspects of these drives, encouraging competence that serves, protects, and creates. Finally, in the face of life's inevitable tragedy and toil, we must not forget to appreciate the small gifts. Happiness is often found in the brief, beautiful moments that punctuate our struggle, a shared laugh, a good meal, the sight of something lovely. While we shoulder our burdens and pursue weighty goals, we should allow ourselves to be present for these simple joys. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Be grateful for a day without overwhelming pain. Notice the playfulness of a child or the warmth of the sun. These moments are not trivial, they are vital reminders of the beauty that persists, and they provide the fuel to continue our meaningful work.